Hello everyone, and welcome back to the studio for this week's episode of Tutorial Tuesday. Today we're here for Tutorial Tuesdays number 33, and we're going to do a very limited palette. Be sure to check the description below to see the list of what we're using today. I've already prepped my 18 by 24 inch canvas with a very thin and even coat of liquid white. Let's jump right into it. I'm going to start with my big 2-inch brush. Dip right into the phthalo blue. I'm going to get a lot of it on my brush, since we're going to be covering a lot of the canvas with it. I thought we would do a really nice blue scene, like it had snowed overnight, really cold, but the sun is shining today. Today we're going to have very bold contrasts of blue and white, and it's going to be really fun. I'm just working this color pretty evenly. I don't want there to be very many clouds. I just want it to be a nice soft sky today. So we just want to kind of blend it from the top down. And our light today is going to be coming from the left-hand side. So we're going to have this corner and this side will be a little bit darker, and we'll have some reflections going across. With that phthalo blue, I want to work some of this into the bottom. We are going to build on it a little bit with some more blue. But we do want to make sure that we get this color in before we add too many other colors to our brush. This is going to be a big lake area with kind of a pathway that comes out into it. So we're just going to paint in the water on both sides. Get our colors together. Let's bring this down a little bit here. We'll go just about there. Now we'll dip into the Prussian blue. And we're going to start from this corner and just work this in. I'm still using a really tight X stroke just to make it a nice, soft, even mixture on the canvas. We want this to be nice and soft, almost so you can't tell where one color ends and the other one begins. So we're just going to continue to soften this. And we'll work some of this in down below. Okay, right down on the horizon, we're going to put just a touch of bright red. Just mix it onto a small 1-inch brush with some titanium white until it just kind of fades out. We don't want it too bright. Just a nice little pink right on the horizon here. There's almost always going to be some reflected fuzz down here. So just work that in. Soften them together. You could just do that with this little brush. Go ahead and pick up a nice big blending brush now. We want to make sure it's good and clean. And we'll start in our light area and just blend it. I've let up a little bit on the pressure now, and I'm just very nicely kind of softening this, just getting all the brush strokes out, making sure that we have the whole canvas covered. And once you get your sky where you like it, we'll move down below and just soften out the water all the way across. And then we'll just soften this all together. Softer now. Okay. Easy peasy. Now, I thought we would just do something really simple today, so we're going to just do a nice little hill out here, grabbing some of our blues and just a touch of black, and we want to get some titanium white as well. And right out here, we'll just put a little, kind of just a little mound, distant, and you just kind of wiggles right on across. Give them a little bit of shape. And we want to add just a touch of a match down below for our reflection. So we'll just pop in a little bit of reflection. We'll do a few little colors on here. We just dip right into some titanium white, and we can put on some little reflective shadows here on this back side. Just adds a little bit of texture here and there. And we'll wipe off that fan brush. And pop in a little bit of a highlight. Just a tiny little bit. Just let your fan brush pick up or lay down whatever it wants. And that is all it needs. These are super distant, really far away. We're going to blend them out and make them really soft. So we just want to add a slight idea of something going on out here. But if we put in too much detail, then they're not going to look as far away. Perfect. Yeah. We'll pick up one of our big brushes, preferably the cleaner one. I'm going to wipe it off. Now I'm just going to tap right in the middle. You can go straight up and down with just the tip. Works, or you can go straight across. You just want to soften it. The mountain at the base. Wipe off the brush. Pull up. Up. I like to wipe off my brush right after I wipe up because you do pick up some paint and then it just stays nice and clean. So you can just wipe off a little bit as you go. And out here, I'm actually going to grab some of this and pull down just a touch. And we'll go all the way across, straight across. And then with your knife, you can come up and just kind of fix some of these areas and just soften it. And just bring some of these little crazy lines together. We still want to have nice soft edges because it's going to push this mountain back. We'll pick up a little bit of titanium white, go into this kind of muddy mixture here, and we'll mix up a little bit of a highlight color. Grab some of our blue mixture and we'll put just a touch of this dark kind of land mixture, just kind of scraping it into the canvas. Pull that down just slightly. You can almost just tap it. Now, we have a nice bright highlight color. Our sun is coming in this way, and we're going to have some shining snow out here. Right over here, we're going to pick up some of our blue with the titanium white that we used for the shadow on the mountain. We just grab a little bit more marble so we get a little bit of white to mix with it. And we'll just pull out these shadows on this side. This side is going to be in the shadow because our big mountain is kind of shading it. And maybe there's another bit of mountain kind of over there. We don't know. Now, let's take our blending brush one more time and we'll just go straight across and just kind of clean up by pulling straight down and going straight across our reflections. These are very, very far away, so we don't need a lot of shore reflection, but we do want it to be there. There we go. Nice. Now, we'll take just a touch of titanium white, go into our blue mixture, and we're going to pick up some liquid white. The liquid white we're going to use to make a medium texture blue that we'll use a couple times for our water. Just cut off a little roll of that paint. And cut in your water line. You want to keep your knife very flat, and notice where my fingers are holding onto the knife. We want to be holding onto the side. Anywhere else and you might put too much pressure on the knife, and it's just not going to turn out the way that you want it to, or in the same way that I'm getting this effect. So pay attention to that. If your finger is on the front, this is no good. Bring it to the side. And you'll have a bit more luck. Now, I just want to work in a few water lines. This is going to be kind of our distant little bit out here. And going to have a pathway leading us out to that. Maybe a little kind of an end here with a nice view of this big mountainy area. So I want to plan that. Pick up a little sable brush and just, I'm going to get some of my darks on the brush. And I know that we're going to have a little path kind of starting from here. And we want it to finish, we'll call it, let's just say here. And we're going to have the edge of our snowbank will be kind of here-ish. And I want this to make a nice curve. And we'll have some snow kind of piled up here in like a round type of a fashion. So then we'll have some nice shadows from that. Just using the black and depression blue. We'll add a little bit of phthalo blue as well. And we're just going to pull out a little bit of reflection here. We just want to put this dark here to help our eyes for the rest of the painting. Nice and dark down in this corner. We're going to have some shadows. Just kind of work in some of our darks and some of our shades. This is going to be a little mound of snow pushed off of the path. We'll have a path coming over here. Bigger at the bottom, darker. side's lighter because the sun's going to be shining on it, but we still need a shadow. And let's just plan out, we're going to have some trees. I'm going to get some midnight black and some Prussian blue and just fill in this area back here first, just to get that filled in. And we'll have some small little trees kind of out here, right? So we'll give ourselves a little bit of an idea. Now way out here we're going to have, definitely there will be snow, but it's all filled in. All right, I'm going to use my fan brush to just put out a little bit of snow out here. Just pick up some white, some muddy white. And we just want to tap on some snow out here, just right on the bank. Then we'll reflect some of this down into the water. And then we're just going to move down. Just a little bit here. Just gonna pull out a little bit of snow on this. I just want to kind of harden this snow up a little bit more here, so I'm going to pull it nice and flat with a knife and just get out those brush strokes where I don't want them. Pull down a little bit of a reflection out here. And we'll move on from here. Just want to start adding in a little bit of texture into this water down here because we're going to have some more movement. Just to add a little bit of that dark in, no big deal. Then we can just soften this right out. Now we'll come back and work on some of these trees here. I want to bring them up. Then like every other one, we'll pull it further in front. And bring down some really small reflections. Then we're going to bring these trees just onto one side. Out on the end, they're just nice and big, and then I want to bring it just to one side here. Put the last one up here, and then we'll start filling in some branches. Now that we have just our general idea of these trees, we're going to just start putting in some branches, making it nice and simple, just kind of designing out a little bit of shape from the back forward. Kind of wiggle your finger out a little, give it a little bit of a shake and some texture. I'm just using my brush wash to thin out these colors. Just kind of keeping with this dark tone, not really changing too much here at all. Just want to put in some branches. All right, let's work for a little bit on just bringing in some colors here. We do want this to be nice and blue and shadowed. With the fan brush, we can get this to be a lot softer. And we're gonna kind of just round this out here. Down here, we'll just pop in a few more darks. Just drag that brush right out onto the edge, and we're going to pull it back just to give a little bit more effect on that dark shadow. Because we're going to pull out some snow here in a minute, and we're going to need that dark. So let's use a little bit of our shadow snow color right out here on this back side. And it's almost like we're putting rocks out, you know, little stones in the water or something. We just want to drag some of this and get a little bit more muddy color in here. Kind of medium texture. It is a little bit thicker now. And we just want to drag some little mounds of snow out over here. Just kind of picking it up from one side and pulling it over. Get a little bit on the front of these trees. Nice and simple now. You can just take more of that paint and pull this flat. I like to just let some of that thick paint set for a minute, just to make it easier for us. And then right out on this side, we're going to put up a bunch of rocks. Some nice dark paint. Good and dark now. And we're going to put out a bunch of these rocks right on the edge. We just give it a nice little drag. Kind of lift some of them up here. And we'll just give this some shape and some texture all the way down, getting those nice, rich, dark colors. We'll add just a little bit more dark over here so we can get a little bit more depth just out of this little bit area. Now I'm going to use the fan brush. Just very lightly pull down some of this where we need to. Bring that back in. We're going to make a little bit of highlight. Ooh, that was way too much red. Nice highlight snow color. I'm going to grab just a touch of black. Okay, now we have two colors here, kind of a lighter and a darker. We'll just mix between these two and pull out a few highlights on this back area here. I want to put on a few little bits on these background trees. We're just going to dip right into our blue with the titanium white. Really break it up on the brush. Open that brush up by getting it into the paint and just kind of breaking it open. And we're going to put on some snow to these trees out here. And we will reflect that into the water. Let's get a little bit of this red mixture. And we'll touch a little bit of that right on the edges. I want this to look like snow has just been blowing on the backside of these trees. So first we're going to take a little bit of bright red and midnight black and mix those on the brush. Then I want to take some titanium white, and this is going to be the bark color of our tree, just on where it's showing through. And I want to add this to the right side of our trees. It's got a little bit of red in there, so it's going to act kind of like a highlight and give us the color that we want out here. And just kind of up in the trees, you can pop in just a few like that. Keep working forward. Just going to be adding very, very small hints of color. It's something that's really fun when you're working with a small palette, is just kind of working with the value a little bit more and less with the colors. So we're just having fun. Right now we're adding a little bit of our kind of our highlight brown, not the top layer of the highlight yet, but this is going to be where our highlights will be, the bright part of the tree. We want to just get this brown mixture kind of embedded into the tree. Mix up a touch more of this dark brown with our midnight black and bright red. Then we use just a touch of titanium white to brighten it up. Makes a really nice little brown. And we're going to use this up the tree for the color, darker part of it towards the back. See how you can just vary up your paint colors just so slightly and have that effect? All the way up this. Just dragging this paint down, up. Now, on the back side, we're going to have snow. like the wind is blowing across the lake and pushing all the snow on the backside of these trees. So we're going to use our titanium white and blue. And we're going to have snow on the back of these trees. Make sure it's a nice blue. You want to make sure to take a little bit of that snow and just pull it down on the back side there if you can. It doesn't have to go all the way up the tree. If you give it a nice little pull, it'll look like it's just been blown right there. Kind of just clean up the fronts of those. Pull out a little bit of snow. Pull that right across there. A little snow down this way. Then we kind of just clean up the front. And I want to add on these branches coming out some snow. Just to really set it home. Yeah, we'll do a little bit more of this kind of rounded snow mound here. Just mixing between highlights and shadows. We'll just pull this right out there. Bit of highlight here, bit of highlight there, some shadows. All right, we're going to use our liquid white with the script liner brush now, and we'll get just kind of a light blue mixture. And we want to use this blue mixture to just touch up these back sides on the branches that we're going to see. Where, here we go, I knew there was a couple, where we're going to have some snow that was just resting on it. I just wanted to put some of these in there. Now we'll go back to our dark, since we're gonna see all of these branches, midnight black and bright red, and the brush wash. And we're gonna just put in some more tree branches. And they're gonna be popping out, and we'll add some more after we put the snow on it, but we're gonna have a bunch of snow on all of these branches. And so we need to put the branches out here to catch the snow. And hopefully we won't get too crazy and carried away with the snow and cover up all the branches. This is the trick to try and get that one right. Let's do a few more bits here, kind of clean that up. Just keep working with this dark mixture. Layering our tree branches with these trees as they're moving forward, getting closer to us, getting taller, and just having some beautiful long branches. Some of them are almost coming right over the path, and we'll see some of their shadows on here. Just get all of these fun details. The script liner will hold a fair amount of paint, so you just work with that until you run out or it doesn't stick anymore. Let's throw this guy over here. Now, I want to do a little bit more with this titanium white. We'll get some more blues. Just grab a good bit of that. And right on these back edges, we're going to bring our mounds down with a little bit of our blue. Just clean up some of these edges so it's not so rich on this dark. There we go, just a few. And right out here on the front, we're going to bring some of these down. We can put in a little bit, grab a little bit of our paint for our water line and just scrub that in on this nice and flat. And as we move forward, it's just going to barely kiss on here. You want to make sure we have a nice thin paint, and with your knife, you'll just drag it right across. Just a tiny bit more here. We're putting a lot of pressure on the front of the knife up here. Just getting that to scrape down. Now with my dirty brush, I'm just going to pull back and soften this very lightly up on this top area. And we'll lift it up, straight up. It's cold out here, but the water's not frozen. So we want to make sure that we add some movement to this water. And we'll put a little bit of a sheen down this flat strokes here. Just a little more here. We're using the bright red and titanium white. And I think maybe we'll put a touch more. Maybe some blue. And let's try not to forget this side a little. We're not really going to notice much over here, but we'll put some in. Fix up our rocks over here. And I'm going to find myself a nice big sable brush. And with this sable brush, I'm just going to soften some of this edge over here. I just want it to look like very cold, icy shores, where it's just kind of thin water maybe out here. It's a little shallower. And it's just nice and cold. And we'll bring that right in to this little bank over here. And I want to soften out our path as well. Just using my sable brush with a nice flat stroke just to soften out the paint. And really bring it all together. It helps to really pull some of these paints in and down. It'll just kind of bring some of that in. Now we'll just grab a little bit of this dark and give it a little bit of a rock. Like there's kind of a little bit of a trough there at the bottom of some of these, where you're going to have your darks. Level it out across the top. Want there to be a big, nice, bright spot. So we'll grab a lot of our highlight mixture. It's a little bit too much, but we'll go with it. And we're going to put in our big, bright highlights. Just drag in some nice, thick paint. Maybe we can bring up this mound a little bit here and pull it down. We're still going to have a little bit of highlights here. just to about there. On this side, we'll add just a touch. Clean it up a little bit. A little bit more here. And right out on the edge. We'll just clean this all up. Put in a few more. We'll put in a few more branches over here just to kind of finish some of this off. All right. Now, bravery test. We're going to go right into a bunch of our blue, white. Get it nice and opened up on that brush. Really open it up. Let's darken it just a touch. There we go. Now, we're going to start building some of our trees back here. Keeping in mind, we don't want to get rid of it all. We just want to put on some fun snow branches. Gotta get that brush to be very, very open, and we just tap and then move your brush to a different shape. Going to be a little tough to clean these brushes today, but it'll be worth it. I want to put in some of these backs with this blue first. Let's try pushing that brush up and get some different looks here. Blues and whites. Well, I like it down this way better. We're just adding in some snow. That was a little too dark there, Kaylee. These are kind of more the background snows on this trees. We've got some down low. And we want a little bit more Okay, Now, clean off that blue, make sure we're going to go into some liquid white and our bright reds, red and white, white and red, liquid white, white and red, red and white. Open it up nice and big there. And we're going to pop on some highlights. Be sure that you're using a good amount of the paints there, and we just want to thin it down a bit enough to stick on top of what we have, so we won't have to worry about any of the texture not sticking. So we just make this one nice and thin. We know it's thinner and we won't have any trouble. Bring some of this down, maybe here. White, red, white and red. Let's get a little bit of a different look. White and red, red and white. Lovely, lovely. Come right down the front of this one here, kind of out to the side. Ooh, thin that. We're getting a lot of paint here. Tiny bit more, maybe down out here. And let's just grab a touch over here. I think something like that. This one is hanging out a little there. Now, script liner, brush wash. I'll just grab some medium. We don't want it super dark, just kind of a medium gray should be enough. And we're gonna pull out a few more branches out here, just in the open spaces. I'm gonna take my blending brush and just in a couple areas where I want to soften it, I'm gonna touch just slightly, and it'll just allow this to soften a little, just set right in there the way we want it to. We're gonna use our medium texture dark and put in some more tree branches. I want to do just a touch more, maybe right out here. Maybe we'll fill a little bit more up over here. Maybe over here, he's just a bigger tree. And I want to do, just take your dark and we'll just pull out something over here for some more snow to sit on. We'll grab a little bit of our snow. We'll kind of just drop some in there. right? A little bit of our blue with our white, and we just pop it in there. Now we've got a good amount of paint on this brush. Let's just use that to help pull this other paint. We just soften, very lightly pulling on it, very, very lightly, and it just softens everything right out. Now this whole edge over here is going to be getting just pushed with snow, so I want to just touch up these edges and make sure that we've got a good bit of blue pulling itself up and over on this edge. And it just kind of blends right into those shadows or those highlights that we have out there. Let's do some of that right here, just a little more reflection with some snow. Soften that, just lightly bring that together. Down here with the sable brush, I'm just going to add back in a little bit more kind of movement and just darken this corner just a touch. I just want there to be a little bit more kind of texture with these darks. Maybe like it's getting darker, deeper. Just a little bit of, you can kind of rock the brush and it just adds some water movement. Nice and simple like that. Get all of the brush strokes out, just lightly. I just want to bring that together. There we go. Nice and simple. Bringing in the dark over into this corner a little more. Bring that dark up to the edge. We need to add just a touch more snow down here in the corner. It's our reflected snow. It's kind of a tough part to get the knife to reach. All right, now right onto the very front of these trees, we're going to add just a pop of light. Just touch with your knife. And then you can kind of tap a few. Like the bark is just straight up and down bark, and we just kind of tap in our movement. Right on this side, right up the front. They're shining right in the sun, these trees. Snow, they're nice and shiny. Beautiful, crisp morning on the lake. Really simple. Hopefully you'll have fun trying this. Please let me know in the comments below what you think. And if you decide that you want to paint it, email me, Kaylee@KayleeRakowski.com. I would love to see a photo of your painting. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I think we're about to finish this up. Be sure to give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. All of that just helps me to keep painting for you and to provide content, and also just to know that that you're enjoying the content that I'm making. So let me know in the comments. I really appreciate all that. I think I'm going to just touch up a couple more bits here that I'm seeing, and then I'm going to sign it. I'm really excited. I think this is going to dry really cool. I like these color combinations together. All right, I'm going to use my brush wash and some bright red to sign this painting. I'm going to sign it right over here in the snow. All right, we're all done. Thank you all so much for joining me here for tutorial number 33 in my studio. My name's Kaylee. I paint wet on wet landscape oil paintings. Smile and be happy, friends.